Hey there, how y'all doing? It's Snoo, I'm back. Yes, did you miss me? Figured you might miss me. I haven't come out with a video in 7 whole days, which is quite surprising considering it's the league start season, right? Well, it surprised me a little bit because I fully intended to make a video fairly early on in the league, but as some of you might recall, my plan, I had a very specific goal, and that was to, as quickly as I could, through solo play, farm up the currency necessary to purchase a Headhunter, and I wanted to kind of really devote all my time to that without being even sidetracked so much as to come out with a video. Now, to make up for that, I've been on Twitch a lot more. If you wanted to see me, you could have very easily seen me if you checked the live stream on Twitch. I've been there, I've been playing, many hours a day. Still going to continue doing that, by the way, until I gotta start work here a week from today. But if you're able to put 2 and 2 together, you probably realize I did not successfully farm a Headhunter in like 3 days flat, which was the loftiest goal I had. I still actually don't even have it right now, but I did just get an Apothecary, so that's really exciting. And with that Apothecary and a lot of other currency I've farmed this league so far, I should have enough to liquidate everything and have enough currency to purchase a Headhunter. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and tease you the following video, which will be coming out shortly after this one. It's going to feature me liquidating everything. I figured, why not? Go ahead and live stream that and even upload it straight uncut to YouTube. I figured it could be a valuable resource for some of you who aren't exactly sure how to go about using like the TFT resources, the bulk selling tool. There's a few tools that are used for that if you want to like liquidate all of your scarab tabs and your essence tabs, your delirium orbs, things like that. And of course using trade somewhat conventionally. I'm going to showcase myself doing all of that. So if that interests you, look forward to that. That's definitely coming out after this video, within a day, I think. But anyway, this video, of course, is going to be more about my reflection of the league start process, what I think about it, how it all went, the execution of the build. I'll showcase, my gear, of course. The POB will be linked in below. I talked a little bit about the strategies that I use to farm. And, of course, the state of magic find, I guess. I have to make a short mention on that. We're going to try to keep things short. I could potentially extend this video out a very long time. But it's late tonight on the 7th day, and I want to just go ahead and give you guys my thoughts, unfiltered, basically. Let's go day by day, actually. I think I'll start with, day 1. It was 8 hours played before I finished the campaign. Not exactly as fast as I hoped there. As you probably all know, I'm not the greatest at that. Definitely a weaker aspect of my gameplay is finishing, doing the campaign. I still leveled as a Toxic Rain champion, which is perfectly capable of finishing the campaign very quickly. But I was able to progress through maps very, very easily. As planned, it was much easier than doing it in Delirium Everywhere, that's for sure. I skipped Heist entirely. I went ahead and, abused the Chaos recipe quite a bit. It looks like this league, one major point of contention was the state of altars. So if you recall last league, once you hit T14s, you can sustain currency pretty easily just doing altar spam. So I was very curious about how that would work. And it turns out that altars are very good, even better than they were last league in many ways. Especially in terms of just like an all-in altar farming strategy, which, by the way, I think will be another video I'll make fairly soon. But yeah, after day 1, I think I was deep into red maps, and my atlas wasn't complete. I think I was like 3/4 of the way done, probably about 2/3 of the way done. Now, day 2 is where I start really diving into high-tier red maps, and that is a very critical day where any given player is. That is the most important day for you to get lucky, basically, day 2. You want that Covenant drop. You want that, I don't know. You want to drop that's worth a few divines, really supercharge the process by which you're able to gear up your character. Granted, Toxic Rain doesn't require a lot of gear, but being flat broke for a while, just relying on the chaos recipe is no fun when, you know, you could drop, I don't know, a random divine orb somewhere and just, you know, you can make huge use out of that. So I do recall the day 2 to day 3 threshold, I was definitely getting a bit let down. I had some pretty awful RNG. I didn't get a single divine orb until the middle of day 3, I think. And my biggest drop was... I remember. I think my biggest drop going into day 2 was like a logbook or something that was worth like 40 chaos. Yeah, pretty bad indeed, considering I was playing all day, both of those days. But you know, it's not something to complain about. It happens sometimes. But I do remember usually in a league start situation that there's at least one moment there within the first 2 days where you get some drop, at least like a divine orb. But I powered through it. Fortunately, I was playing a build that didn't require getting lucky on gear too much. By day 3, the end of day 3, my Atlas was completely done. I was able to, you know, by the end of day 2, I was already, I had already done Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds, and basically the Atlas was done by the end of day 2. Day 3 was marked by me beginning to do my core farm and unlock all the favorited map slots, finishing the Atlas out, not including the major boss invitation, so 6 points shy of that, leveling up, of course. And I did have to go on TFT to purchase some of the boss carries, like just regular shape. I went ahead and purchased, you know, regular shaper and Cortex boss, Cirrus, you know, stuff like just get them out of the way quick and easy. I don't want to bother with getting the materials for that. You can very easily leech those kills with the carrier's materials and stuff, so quite easy to do that, to unlock the favorited slots, to unlock the void stones if need be. Now, I started farming Legion, Breach, and Essence, and that was a plan. Like, I was steadfast. I was like, this is going to work. You know, this is going to be me, for the first time, taking advantage of that window of opportunity where you do a farm that most people aren't able to do or aren't willing to do so early in the league that you just make out like a bandit. And my plan was to, you know, get some Breach Stones, but more importantly, get some emblems, Legion emblems, Mariketh emblems, things like that, and just make a killing there early league. I recognized last league I could have probably done that and didn't do that, so I wanted to try it this league. And something happened this league. I'm not even exactly sure what. It must have something to do with the way the Atlas passives were changed, and you know, everybody's able to juice without even juicing. So there's you don't really have to commit, I guess, to a particular strategy and invest much currency into it. And so everybody's just kind of doing a bit of everything, and there's so much supply. There's so much supply that it was kind of weird. It was kind of hard to even make currency doing that strategy. So I quickly realized that I kind of wasted day 3 a bit, and some of day 2, and some currency, obviously. I could have powered through Legion and Breach in essence, I guess, but Toxic Rain is not exactly amazing at those things. It's an all-arounder build. I knew it would work all right because Toxic Rain would be very good against Legion bosses, Breach bosses, Essence monsters, but the clear would suffer a bit, especially on Breach. And I would supplement with the Gloom Shrine, but the Gloom Shrine can only carry you so much for a build that's not inherently amazing at clear. But you know what Toxic Rain is really good at? It's really good at Strongbox farming. It's actually amazing at it. And you know what I'm good at? I'm good at Strongbox farming. So I put those two together, and yeah, I have pretty good strategy on my hand. I just go right back to my bread and butter, Crimson Temple. I started off on Colonnade to kind of help finish my gearing process, my League Start gearing process, and get a few patient cards, so that was good. It's a very good farm, by the way. Just doing kind of a generic divination strongbox farming strategy on Colonnade. Very safe farm, but I knew that they had much more potential if I took it to the Crimson Temple, and of course I'm kind of relying on some lucky RNG there. We're talking about the kind of day 4, day 5, day 6, and yes, even day 7. Spent a huge amount of time in the Crimson Temple. Not 100% of my time there, but a lot of it. Probably farmed roughly 250 maps at this point. finally got an Apothecary card. I did go ahead and track what kind of rate I was looking at getting Apothecaries. It looks like I was supposed to get one about one every 100 120 maps, and it took me about 250 maps to find one. Just so you are aware, this is day 7 at this point. All of my time spent in Crimson Temple. I have found 16 Enlightens, 10 7 Years Bad Luck, 11 Dragon Hearts, and 1 Apothecary. So I'm not going to get into the ratios or whatever, but with ratios like that, I should find more like 2 Apothecaries, at least 2, not 1. But it is what it is, and it's okay, because somehow, in some way, I was able to make currency with or without the Apothecary card. I think it's going to come to a big surprise to a lot of people, and another video that I plan to make in the relatively near future will be the how I farmed my Headhunter video, which I will feature kind of the primary farm that I did in Crimson Temple. Sorry if you're looking for me to, showcase that right here, right now. I'm not planning to run a map right now, but you can, look at my Twitch backlogs on the Twitch, and you can see me doing it right there. You can check in and see what kind of strategy I was doing based on those vods if you want. Or you can just simply wait until I come out with the YouTube video on it here in the next few days. So yeah, that's basically the day-by-day process. And let's see, what do I actually think about the league? So the league mechanic is the Sanctum mechanic, and I have no idea because I haven't even stepped foot in it. I went ahead and let other people check it out. I anticipated it was not going to be as much currency as I could make doing Legion of Breach, or in this case, Strongbox farming for divination cards. And I was right. It's apparently not. But it does sound like it's loads of fun once you have a character that's kind of good for the content and well geared. It's definitely something I want to try at some point in the next few weeks. I will definitely dip my toe into it, and I would like to have the Sanctified Relic that permanently increases your player power for this league. That would be nice to have, and a nice little chase, I guess, to do something different. But for now, my focus is actually kind of on testing out different strategies and coming out with some more content for you guys, videos, farming videos. And I'm going to be transitioning, of course, into a tornado shot champion with some magic find. Indeed, kind of basically doing what I did last league with the Deadeye or the Ascendant, except I want to try it on the champion. I think it'll be fun, which is a terrific segue into magic finding, the state of magic find. Yeah, it looks like the conversions are still happening, but they may not be reliant on rarity, not much. Probably still working with the Reliquary Scarab, though. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. But, word on the street has it that maybe rarity is not very useful. Again. Aside from, of course, just farming uniques, which, by the way, are more valuable than they've ever been. There's a lot of uniques that are actually still worth like 1 divine, full divine or more. And tons of uniques that are still worth like 20, 30, 40, 50 chaos, even at the end of day 7. So, I don't want people to, think that rarity has like no value at all. I've still been using Reliquary Scarabs, my generic farms, for my Strongbox farming. I'll still go ahead and put it in there. Just found a brass dome earlier today, by the way, and that was 1.4 divines. It rolled 2%. All max res, still worth 1.4 divines. So I've never seen brass dome worth that much as a baseline before. So that was cool. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan. So we got the plan is tornado shot champion moving forward. And the plan is to magic find, even though magic finding might not be so good. I'm sure you guys would like to see me try and see what becomes of that. Videos will come out related to that. The immediate plan will be more focused on sort of very, very low investment, Alchemy style stuff, altar farming. I think kind of all-in altar farming could be really good. That's kind of that's what's new and hot on the street right now. And I think that has a lot of potential. I'd love to come out with a video for that. It could be really useful for a lot of you guys who maybe not so big on high investment farming, especially early in the league, which is totally understandable. let's get into my character here. All right, so you can see I'm level 96, almost level 97. Wow, look at that. So that is one highlight actually when I come out with the How I Farm My Headhunter video. It will entail solo leveling though, where the champion is kind of tanky, and I've even been doing some Delirium Mirror content, still powering through it. Beyond, however, I did try Beyond a bit. That is super rippy, but even Delirium Mirrors still kind of handle. Yeah, so kind of some of the stats there. Again, POB for this character in its current form will be listed in the description below. Oh, I should probably put it on Toxic Rain there, huh? Yeah, Toxic Rain damage numbers don't exactly come out accurate at all on there. So for the bow, I did exactly what I talked about in my video showcasing my plans for this character. Shrieking Essences of Dread, they ended up being 8 chaos apiece. After about 15 of them, I hit a good attack speed roll and went ahead and did the metacraft, finished it out. Also enabled me to have a benchcraft of my choice as a suffix, which was nice. The quiver, I wised up and realized I should probably just get a fractured quiver that was already prepared for me. I went ahead and did essences. Can't remember the name of the... Oh, yeah, it was Shrieking Essences of Woe, I think it was, for the increased damage bow skills. Slammed those in. They're very cheap, 1 or 2 chaos apiece, until I hit a high tier max life roll, preferably another decent suffix. So, well, 7 life per kill is not terrible, but yeah. Gallhelm, surprisingly, was only like 30 chaos to buy very, very early. I was quite surprised to be able to get that on like day 1 or something like that, maybe day 2. That was super quality of life for sure. And then I stole this one for like 1.5 divines. For some reason, somebody posted only 1.5 divines, and I already got the one that has the nice corruption. Not really making major use out of the corruption currently, but I will in the future when I switch to Tornado Shot, definitely. Also got a Cannot Be Poisoned Loy's Lantern. Ends up looking pretty nice, actually. It's either Cannot Be Poisoned or Cannot Be Bled. Both are really good. Oh, check it out. I'm actually rocking them at Ventor's Gamble now. This is one of the more recent additions. Also 1.5 divines for this ring here. And I just got this one today, actually. The only magic find I have is the Experimento's Gold Flask of the Order. And Ventor's Gamble gives me about 137 rarity, I think, when the flask is up, and 9% quantity, of course. For divination card farming, only the quantity is useful. However, for the amulet, I went ahead and pre-purchased a damage over time multi with a tier 1 rarity suffix roll. Finished it out with the aspect of the spider. And then suffixes cannot be changed with the chaos reforge. And Exalt Slam for a useless max energy shield. There. Let's see. Soul Thirst is here. I managed to Valorb this, actually. Malevolence increased effect. Nice, lucky. I bought this 3-step assault for 1 divine, I think, to get the double corruption. Really nice double corruption. I did go ahead and pay a lab runner 60 chaos to get this enchanted as well. And the curse on hit, or despair on hit, wow, was only like 30 chaos, unbelievably, for these gloves. So there's like no demand for this, apparently. Of course, we're using Witchfire Brew. However, curse on hit, while it is nerfed a bit, is certainly higher quality of life, and especially in that it frees up a flask slot, which is why I'm able to use a gold flask. Super nice, right? The other flasks are still basically the same. Good for a Soul Thirst build. And this character works out nicely. 20-second Soul Thirst or Soul Leader uptime with the using the Life Flask to reset Adrenaline fairly reliably. Oh yeah, Darasol's Defiance here, just kind of baseline. Also quite cheap this league, actually. As for the passive tree, everything should look pretty much in order. I mean, it's basically exactly like what it was set up for at the league start in the POB before. We got the, I think, the exact same large cluster that I wanted, and you know, a couple of medium clusters that rolled pretty nice. Took me a while to roll these up. Got the frantic aspect and the mortifying aspect. Sorry, frantic. Oh yeah, they're both called aspect, I guess. Yeah, so the build is done. And I don't plan to upgrade the Toxic Rain build anymore, except for equipping a Headhunter. Yeah, I will equip the Headhunter eventually on that. But yeah, that's where we're at, you know. And so let's see. I talked about Sanctum, which I didn't do. I talked about magic finding, which there's much more to be explored. You know, verdict's not out on that yet, 100%. But it definitely looks like, you know, God Touch farming. We already knew God Touch farming itself explicitly is nerfed. But yes, even conversions don't appear to be that great. Personally, I have seen a Divine Orb come out of a currency at least twice. Only one Divine at a time, though, so no major. The Scarab explosion's still big. I've not even seen the 6-link explosion yet, which is kind of weird. I have seen the Divine Orb altar for Eater of Worlds. I have been running Eater of Worlds primarily because it's still good for player altars for divination card farming. I did see the Divine Orb altar for minions. It dropped, or it spawned when I was just beginning farms. I think it was a low pack size map, unfortunately. I was able to walk away with 5 raw Divine Orbs at a moment when it really mattered a lot. It meant... I think that enabled me to craft my amulet and something else that I was able to do with those 5 divines. It was very meaningful timing, so I'm still quite happy about that. That was the first major lucky moment of the league. That happened in the middle of day 3. Then the next major moment would be... oh, yeah, an interrogation dropped. That's a 5 Divine Orb drop at the time. It dropped in the day 5, I think? Early day 5. It was one of the first times I had even killed a Delirium boss, so that was quite lucky right there. But you know, not an insane drop, but yeah, definitely a very good drop. And then today on day 7, got my first Apothecary. That was quite a bit overdue. Again, 250 maps deep, something like that. Should have seen that card. On average, would see it once every 120 maps. So that was not exactly a highlight in terms of good luck, but a highlight nonetheless, obviously, to get that. So that's it. That's kind of my league start plans. I'm sure there's something else you guys might be curious about. Go ahead and ask it in the comment section. But again, got some really interesting videos coming out to you soon, including low investment altar farm, including how I farm my Headhunter, which will feature me doing the farm I was essentially doing this whole time. 1 hour of an in-depth discussion about it, everything going on in my head. Also going to feature myself liquidating all of my currency to purchase the Headhunter, and you'll get to see that in real time, which will be very useful for a lot of you, I think. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm back. I can focus a little more on YouTube content now. But at this present time, if you see the clock down there, it says 1:50. That's 1:50 a.m. Usually I'm in bed right about now. So I'm going to go, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye for now.